What's it like to have James back?
Awesome. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
It's nice to have him.
Yeah, best thing in the world.
Complete.
Family's important.
So James, tell us what it's like to be back.
So I think there's gonna be a lot of times when words fail me. I'll do my best though to express the gratitude in that. I think my mom, I always talk about my mom praying me back, and it's just really at times it's unrealistic that I've survived all I've survived, and then I'm able to come in this house and be a part of the family, which is so overwhelming at times that I don't even deserve what I have in them right now,
No,
because
you
of what
deserve
I put them through. Well, thanks, Dad. And that is the moment when I hear I deserve it, that I'm really, really grateful and humble by that.
Why is it great to have him back? Because we have our old Jim back, who is the heartwarming, self-giving of himself, and it's just good to have him back here.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I love having Jimmy back in my life again, definitely. And we do everything we can to help him, and he does everything he can to help us. And that's what family does. And we love him, and we're very proud of him.
For me, it's just having Jim and Rob back, my two hearts.
Yeah.
That's important to me. So to me, my family's complete now that he's back. And I'm grateful.
But Rob never left.
But I'm saying they're together.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
good. It's good
Yeah.
to have him back. Just see my mother happy.
Yeah.
That makes a big difference in my life.
Yeah.
You know.
I used to say that my brother, in my warped thinking and addiction, I used to feel really abandoned. And then what happened, I came here, my first visit from a halfway house in Newark, and I sat at a table, and I sat down at the table looking around, and what had come to me in my spirit was that all of the years I felt that I was abandoned, I realized I was actually the abandoner, because all of those chairs had been sat in through parties, through years of holidays, and I was the only one that wasn't there. They all aged in a beautiful way and grew. And my brother, in regards to him, real quick, I need to say this, is that, I hurt his mother. So there was a separation. If someone had hurt my mother, I understand how you cannot like that human being regardless if they carry the same blood or not. There's a very strong bond between mother and son. And, so I understood how he felt, and it's taking time, and still is. It's a work in progress to repair that, what I've done, so.
But what's gratifying is to see Jimmy here laughing and not having that sad face
Yeah.
to have to walk out that door
100%.
or be thrown out that door. And so,
There's a big difference here.
There
I
is.
mean, now than before. We had locks on my bedroom door.
I think
So-
it's
Which
still
recently
there.
No,
just
I took
came
it
off.
off.
Oh, you did?
I
Okay.
took it off.
That was a moment for me.
Yeah.
Because for the past 5 years, January 15th will be 5 years that I have not touched a minor mood-altering substance. And every day when I did come in here, I would see the lock on that door, and it would remind me, you got one time, man. That's it. Because what that reminded me of was what I had caused and what I never want to be again. And that takes effort on my part to continue to remember the lock and the bolt. I'm so grateful to be on the opposite side of that today and not locked out.
Yeah.
So when that came down, it was a part of me said, now work harder, man. Keep that.
Yeah. You can look at that lock in a lot of different ways like that. That's awesome.
When
you think about it, literally, the lock itself
Yes.
becomes such an important thing, And it was important to go on too.
One of the recurring themes that everybody talked about was honesty and how you really played them. How is honesty in your life now?
As opposed to playing them in a manipulative
You
way.
get
during
manipulated,
addiction.
you were constantly kind of lying to
Oh.
them, and so how
They
is
say, well, they say when an active addict, moves their mouth, it's always a lie, which is really true. But the lie comes from necessity and need to not only physically be, become numb, right, and not feel, but emotionally and mentally. So there was no truth in my words. The one thing I know that my mother had did in the beginning, I don't know if you remember, she said to me, so did you really do that? And I was like, oh, this is you now. Who are you? And I said, yeah, I did it.
You was a shrewd manipulator.
I needed to manipulate.
Yeah, because you see what the difference is, that you're smart than most guys out in the street. Really. Jimmy's very smart. So for him to be able to manipulate people would be easy for him.
It became an art.
He knows, he was good at it. I mean, he'll look you right in the face and you would swear he was telling the truth at the time.
That was his survival.
That was his survival. No. And I went through same stuff, so I know what it is like.
For an addict, I must differentiate active addict as opposed to recovering addict, right? And the ing part is super important because I've never arrived. It's a constant flow of energy that keeps me remembering. They say a grateful addict will never use, and I believe that and live in that so deeply, and I'm drenched in it because I have to remember what I didn't have, what I do now, to lay in my bed at night. Every night I get in it and I feel my body become comfortable. I remember when I had nowhere to lay. So something as simple as a mattress for me every night will keep me grateful. Remembering though, with my effort, see, I can lust in the idea of the negative disease that it wants me to, but I then turn my back to it with effort to not be in that. And I just think that that's one of the reasons that it helps keep me honest on all levels, where I've been and what I am becoming. I think you said the best thing about having me back.
Well, I mean, you're Rob's brother, and when you weren't part of the puzzle, you're constantly looking for you, constantly thinking about you. As negative as it was and what you were doing, we were talking about you, we were thinking about you, praying for you, but that at the same time we hated who you became. So having you back has been, and I think I said this on my, personally, has been nothing but joyous. We get to really enjoy good moments together. The celebration needs to be together. Your mom needs to constantly be happy in life, and you just doing the right thing in life. It doesn't matter if you have a great job or the clothes you wear or the car you drive. If you're doing good for yourself, you're doing good for so many other people, and that's important. That's important to her health, to her mind, and to your brother. Everybody in the family. It's just, it's important that you keep, and I always said, eyes on the prize, right? So, focus, keep your mind moving forward, and do the good things in life, because life's too short. And
that brings us back as one unit again.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always say, for me, it's like karma every day comes to my door and it's like, good morning. I want to talk to you, open up. And I open the door and it says to me, every single person you hurt the most and betrayed their trust is now going to love you the most on your new journey. That for me is a major understanding of what I have been given back, but also it comes with consequence. The consequence of not forgetting by their attentive love and care and concern. My mother filled my refrigerator and still does. She is a major factor because I caused her the most pain, because her love was the richest. And when something is that powerful, even if without my permission, I didn't want to pay attention to it, I am forced to, because it's in such an abundance that how could I not acknowledge that? In the beginning of recovery, you do it, they say you have to be selfish, but eventually you understand that you become selfless once you understand the lesson of why you were where you were from me.
Are you here without them?
In what sense?
Are you here today without them?
I'm not. I'm present in every way, and so are they.
No, but I'm saying, do you recover without them? Even though you were on the street, their power must have been in your brain, no?
No, I felt abandoned.
Okay.
I was deceived. The disease of addiction is mind and mood. There's a chemicals that go in our body that want to make us mind and mood altered, right? But the disease of addiction just makes me think that I am deceiving thoughts that aren't realistic. So here's the addict and there's the world. Give me, I want, do you, I need, will you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right?
Yep.
It's the core of addiction, the root is self-centeredness. But in the center of that self is what must be looked at. What's the foundation of that self? What pain, what hurt, what masks are being worn, and what freedom are you not having in order to allow yourself to not be minded,
That's an introspection.
minded,
You did.
mood altered.
Yeah.
Right.
From the time you were little or whatnot, I got a lot of information that you were like very headstrong, that you demanding, maybe a little arrogant, maybe a little like, that was you before the addiction, and now you go through the addiction, and now you come out, and it seems to me like, through this journey, you've gotten a better Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
back, one who lives
Yeah.
a life of
That
gratitude.
makes sense, yeah.
It's not even the same guy that you got back. You got a new and improved version of somebody that
Yeah,
has
absolutely.
really
Absolutely.
let go of his sense of self.
Yes.
What we call as part of recovery is that self-emptying, right? And the disease it just wants to keep us in it, so it keeps you so focused on it that you lose everything around. You literally lose your free will because you're so concentrated and so focused. So now that when he put down that false sense of self, because all that arrogance and all that bravado, whatever that was early on, manifested itself, got worse during the addiction, and became a false Jimmy, because that wasn't who he, right?
Yeah.
And then when he put it down, now he's becoming the man that God really wanted him to be, which is a man who lived a life of gratitude and love and humility and kind of recognizing other people. So,
And authenticity.
yeah, and not being afraid to be who you are.
Yeah.
That mask is off.
It is. And we talk about that little boy who was arrogant and who was acting out.
Yeah.
I think the reason for that is because that little boy was not directed and had all of these the differences than most little boys. Or so I thought. There were a lot more little boys like me, but I was taught there wasn't. By many different entities. So I was, of course, captured in those self-imposed chains of confusion, which came out and manifested in the demon child acting out. So that, as my beautiful Aunt Margaret called me as a child, I remember being really difficult to be nice to. But I think that really was because, I just didn't have direction. And what I was learning as a little child was what many people in the world hated and was going to be an abomination. I was that. So when I started learning that, I started, oh my God, I don't want to be that. But eventually that prayer was never answered, because it would be like me going to bed and saying, please let me have blue eyes tomorrow. I wake up, I'm going to have brown eyes. It's just reality.
What's the ending with the family?
The end. Cut.
No.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you end it, because this is your story. End it.
just quickly say to each one of you something. Joe, thank you for raising my nephews with such love. Thank you for loving my brother and never ever abandoning him through the worst days that I put him through. Appreciate you and I love you.
Absolutely. Love you too, Joe.
Robbie, I'm sorry for hurting your mother. And I'm sorry that I had her go through everything she went through. So I'll do my best forever to treat your mother with kindness and love. Ma, thank you for praying me back to life. Thank you for making me know that I was never abandoned. I appreciate you. Dad, I just want to say, every time I asked you for a ride to the hospital when I was lost and out in the cold, you would come in your blue truck and you'd be all wrapped up in your clothes that kept you warm and pick me up, and you know you never failed me in that sense, I have to say. So thank you for keeping me alive many nights when I may have killed myself.
Yeah, it really heated me up when I used to have to leave you off someplace like that.
I'm sure.
I don't like it.
And Margaret. Thank you for being so many things to our family. Thank you for always giving me $10 when I asked for $5. Thank you for always making sure that my mother was okay when she was at our most broken point. So I appreciate you and thank you.
I love you.
And I love you. And my biggest thing that I'm just going to close with this is that just for today, I'm going to make it back to my bed clean. And I will do my best not to ever harm anyone else. That's all I could give you. And I love you all. And thank you.
We love you too.
Love you.
Thanks.
We still love you.
You're hot.